Hi, my name is Dr. James Chesson. I'm the developer of the Innate Choice supplement system. What I want to talk to you about in this segment is why Innate Choice is your best choice for supplementation with fish oil. I developed a product called Omega Sufficiency, and I want to tell you a little about how and why I developed the product the way I did. The first thing I did, of course, was years of research to figure out why omega-3 fatty acids are so important, especially EPA and DHA, and I've gone over that in another segment. So the next thing I had to do was figure out how to deliver that to you in the most productive and ethical and cost-effective way. Quality is always first. It's always the first priority. There are many ways to produce supplements, as I'm sure some of you are aware, that are quite inexpensive. But the most important thing always has to be quality, because I have to take these products myself and feed them to my family. So the first thing we had to do is make sure that all of the mercury and dioxins and PCBs were removed. I want to make sure that the product that you take is absolutely free of any contaminants. So what we do is we have every batch of our oil tested in a third-party facility that ensures you and us that the product is free of all contaminants. The second thing we want to do is we wanted to use a pharmaceutical-grade facility. What that means is that the facility gets inspected regularly to make sure it meets the very highest standards in the industry. The other thing that was very important was that we wanted to keep the oil in its most natural form possible, because we know that is the way that your innate genetic intelligence is expecting to have those nutrients delivered. In other words, we didn't want to alter it in any way. We didn't want to make a human-derived, chemically altered byproduct of fish oil. We wanted to give you oil like we squeezed a fish and put it in a bottle and gave it to you. One of the things I always ask people is, look, if you were to take an olive and you wanted to consume olive oil, would you just take an olive and squeeze it into a bottle and think that was the best way? Or would you think that you should squeeze an olive, take it into a lab and biochemically alter it and think you could improve upon it and then deliver it? I think most people would realize, obviously, that the closer to nature, the better. We've never improved on nature, especially when it comes to nutrition, and we never will. So the idea, the whole premise of not only this supplement, Omega Sufficiency, but all the supplements in the Innate Choice line is to stay as whole and as close and as naturally occurring as possible. We'll discuss that more as we talk about some of the other supplements. So the other thing we want to do is we wanted to keep the oil in its natural ratio. What does that mean? It means that in nature, EPA and DHA, the essential fatty acids, are provided mostly in a ratio of about 18-12. It's called the 18-12 ratio, or 3:2. And that's very important. We did not alter that ratio at all. The other thing we wanted to make sure is that we offered the fish oil to you in the exact same way that you would consume it, meaning that all the other complementary fatty acids are left in our product. It's not a concentrate. You'll see that term a lot. It's called, and what a concentrate is, it takes out all the other naturally occurring oils and just isolates the EPA and DHA and delivers it because they can get more into a bottle. And we refuse to do that because although we do it is a little more expensive for us, the quality is so much better, and it allows you, again, to have a product which is as close to the way you would naturally consume it as possible. That's our founding principle and always will be. The other thing that we wanted to make sure is that we didn't use we didn't change the actual biochemical form of the fatty acids themselves. Fatty acids come in what's called the triglyceride form. That means there's 3 fatty acids attached to a glycerol backbone. And I'm not going to get into too much biochemistry, but that's the natural form it occurs in. Many of the oils on the market are in an ester form because it's easier to flavor, and there's some other advantages that make it less expensive to produce. We keep our oil in the natural form. We filter it naturally as well, which is very important. The other thing we want to do is we wanted to make it palatable. It had to taste great, or you and your people, that your families, many of you will have children, they won't consume it. So what you'll find is your kids will actually fight for this stuff. They like it. Why? Because it's not the old cod liver oil of the past. This is actually very good tasting, naturally flavored with lemon fish oil. So it doesn't taste or smell like fish. Why? Because we also don't allow it to oxidize. When you take a fish out of the ocean and smell it, it doesn't smell fishy. Why? Because it hasn't started to oxidize or rot yet. Just think about cutting an apple and on a tree, or when it's in the fridge properly with its skin on, an apple won't turn brown or oxidize. The moment you break that seal, it will. Well, the moment the fish starts to break down, that's what that odor is. So anytime you have a supplement that has an odor to it, or it tastes or smells fishy, you know that there's some oxidation that's occurred, and that's actually now becoming a toxic product rather than a helpful one. So with all these things in mind, we created the best product possible. And what we did is we took a fish, We squeezed it, we filtered that oil, we kept it in its most naturally occurring form. We flavored it naturally, we put natural antioxidants in it, and we produced an oil that absolutely tastes great. And I'm very proud to say that this is the Omega Sufficiency. One of the things I want to tell you about is after you open the bottle, you don't have to refrigerate until it's open. But once it's open, you need to put that in the fridge, and you need to shake that bottle very well each time because it's in the triglyceride form. Just like if you put olive oil in the fridge, it'll start to solidify. So will this fish oil because it's so natural. So you need to shake it up really well each time you use it and refrigerate it. After you open it, you don't need to refrigerate it beforehand, of course, and you don't have to refrigerate the gelatin capsules that are also available. Thank you so much.